Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette. Joining me now are Marian Ruthig and Sean Emerson of I Support Community. So glad to have you guys with us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now talk a little bit about how you founded and why you founded I Support Community.
So I started I Support Community, it was almost 3 years ago now, and it actually started July 11th, 2012, and I was sitting at a networking breakfast, and they showed a video of the Hesed House, and it was one of those videos that just, totally grabbed me by the heart. I'm sitting there tears are welling up in my eyes, and it was just a really powerful video. And when I left that meeting, I just had this idea, and I said, why isn't there an online resource where people could connect with local charities through video, where you could teach your kids about it, where you could sit down and really just learn a lot about local organizations through that video story. So I really believed other people would be inspired like I would and would want to get involved. Another really big reason why I wanted to start I Support Community was for my kids. I told my husband all the time, the kids are so fortunate, they don't understand. How do we really get them to understand how fortunate they are and to have a broader perspective of the community? What are the issues in the community? How do we really get them to be educated and be involved? So those are the big drivers behind me leaving my job. I'm a CPA and was in public accounting for 12 years. So left my job and started I Support Community.
That's a big jump, big career change there.
It was a big career change, although I always say I'm still doing everything I loved in public accounting. I'm still doing because I love meeting people, I love learning what they're doing. So it's really, I'm still doing everything that I love, but it was a big shift. And we started I Support Community in December of 2012. We had one charity on the site telling their story, and now we have 26 organizations that have joined over the past 2.5 years, almost 3 years. We actually have over 100 little mini short video stories of those organizations on our website. So if people were to go to I Support Community, they could learn a lot about the local charities through the videos.
Okay.
And once we'd been going for about a year, we decided, the videos weren't enough. We weren't getting enough of that connection, enough of that education. So that's when we started going out into the community and really hosting monthly events to educate people on the organizations and try to inspire people to get involved. So it's where we started our education piece, which has evolved now to encompass adults, teenagers, and kids. We actually start as young as age 3 with our kids programming, which kind of is unique because I know a lot of parents are always saying, I want my kids to be involved, but where do they start and how young can I get them going? And with I Support Community, you can start as young as age 3. So
okay, that's very young.
It's very young. It's really fun. We teach them about different charities, do mini service projects together, really make it easy for families to get involved and learn. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, Sean, you were not 3 when you got involved,
no,
obviously.
Not.
But
No.
Tell us how you got involved.
So a friend of mine introduced me to Marian, and we had an initial discussion. About a year later, she contacted me and asked me to get involved. And so everything you just heard, she gave to me, and it was kind of an easy decision, quite honestly. I was also real impressed by her dedication and discipline, and felt like, okay, we're going to go in the right direction.
Okay. Now, you've been on the board about a year, is that right?
Yep.
So you've seen big changes in that time?
Well, I think the biggest is the evolution, going from kind of a repository of these video stories to using the videos proactively to educate and inspire people, and ultimately to empower them to get involved. And then I think with the launch of the charity clubs, the first one we did was this past spring at Elmwood Elementary, is going to change really everything we do.
Okay, now say a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about what's involved in that charity club.
So the Charity Club is a program that's designed for elementary age students. And right now we have it at Elmwood Elementary, and it's after school. Meets for about an hour and 15 minutes. And the curriculum that's behind that is a different charity each month. So each month the kids come to the classroom after school and we teach them about a local charity, and we go through a mini service project. We really try to get them to experience what it would be like to be helping the organization. This would be a great example. Celebrate Differences is an organization that helps people with all disabilities, all ages. And we take the kids through an activity where they have to try to button up their shirt with rubber gloves on, we put on goggles, and then you put Vaseline, so they have to mirror, what would it be like to have a visual disability. That's just one of the types of activities that we do. This year we'll be featuring DuPage pads. We'll be making placemats for their overnight sites. So it's really a different charity and a different lesson plan each month. And then the underlying education is really empathy, compassion, interpersonal communication skills, kind of that emotional intelligence that's so critical for kids. I think even more so in today's day and age with the technology and everything, that if we can start at a young age learning those skills and then tie it to, hey, here's a great way to give back, here. So it's really kind of balling that all together that makes the Charity Club, I think, kind of really unique and special.
Okay.
And it's really neat to see, kindergarten, first graders, second graders really how much they understand about the stories that we're telling and the exercises that we're going through. And they begin to exhibit that empathy and compassion right there while we're working with them. It's fun.
Yeah.
About how many kids do you have in that program right now?
So last spring at Elmwood, we had 25 students. We actually had over 60 permission slips come in for 25 places in K through second grade. So clearly a lot of parents, I think, felt like I did, really wanting their kids to have that. And this fall, we've doubled the program. So we're going to have 50 students, 25 in K through second and 25 in third through fifth, starting actually, yes, this fall at Elmwood. So.
Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a lot of expansion that you've seen.
It is, yes, and we're going to expand beyond that as well, which we're very excited about. We have a goal this year to be in 6 to 8 elementary schools by the end of the 2015-2016 school calendar year.
And you think you make it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who's going to be teaching those classes? Who is doing the coaching, if you will?
So every session has a lead volunteer and 3 support volunteers, and then we train the lead volunteer. We have a big curriculum booklet that lays out the 8 lesson plans, and behind that has the agenda, the supply checklist, the take-home. So everything that you would need as a lead volunteer to really be able to execute the programming. And then the support volunteers are parents. We have corporations that are partnering with us, like Primrose School at Naperville Crossings. So they might have an employee that would like to volunteer. So that's how the volunteer piece comes in. And then some of the charities themselves are going to be participating. We've worked with them in building the curriculum, and some of them are actually going to be involved in the after-school program.
Come in and do it kind of hands-on.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
So now if a viewer wanted to get involved,
What are some of the great ways that people can get
Well,
involved?
I mean, obviously, they can go to the website, isupportcommunity.org. They can
They can reach out to us to volunteer in the after-school club.
Right, to both of us. They can sign up for our newsletter. We will send them the newsletter as well.
so lots of different ways that they
lots of
can
ways.
engage with you guys.
There are, definitely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. So for more information about the iSupport community, visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned because we're coming right back.